Welcome, troops, to Soldiers of Shoot. I got with me on my left Hollywood Edwards. And Hollywood, you were up late last night. You're back right at it today. You watched the whole Smackdown show. I'd like to say I did the same, but I didn't. Somewhere along the line, I dozed off. You went all by yourself last night. Did a little bit of a review on the Smackdown show, and now here you are on Wednesday morning, right back at it for all of our troops, and a couple of news stories and some other things I'd like to touch on just for a few minutes. How's the head? Are you clear? Are you ready to go, man?
Yeah, here's the thing. Last night you sent me in. I felt like John Rambo in Rambo 2. I was sent on an extraction mission watching Smackdown, and then you flew the chopper in, and then you aborted, and you were right there to pick me up, and you just took off without me. You were gone. You flew away. You were there until about, 10 o'clock, maybe not even 10. No, you didn't make it to 10. You didn't make it to 9 because it was over at 10. So I think it was like maybe 8:45 when the text messages stopped. And then I knew I was flying solo. So I just wanted to say I appreciate that, and thanks for making me suffer through the show without help. So thank you very much.
Do you want to hear something crazy? And I remember Aleister Black and Ricochet coming to the ring. That's the last thing I remember. And dude, again, we've been through this. Ricochet is like one of my favorite wrestlers.
He's putting you to sleep now.
I'm falling asleep in his spots now.
It's amazing. Okay. It's amazing.
All right, bro, a couple of news items. And the first one, and, the big wrestling fans out there are really this is going to be their number one thing they're probably focused on right now, and that's Tommaso Ciampa. Bro, it appears that the neck injury is bigger and badder than expected. He is going to require surgery, and bro, they're saying Ciampa will be out to 6 to 14 months. A lot of people, because he's in NXT, may think that Ciampa's a young dude. He's not. He's been around for a while. 14 months at this stage of his career, dude, that's a long time.
Yeah, he's got some wear and tear on him already. Mm-hmm.
Now, the story in the back goes that this is something he's been dealing with for 4 to 5 weeks. That timeline puts it before he was actually called up to WWE, that this injury has been going on since then. He's been trying to deal with it. And I don't know if it happened down in NXT and he got the call up. I'm sure he didn't want to not do the call up because he was hurt. I'm sure he would try his best to keep on going as far as that's concerned. But the other part of this story is, we've had those conversations in the past about companies who tape ROH, back in the day, TNA Impact, dude, there were times where they were, taping 3-4 months of this shot back in the later part of Dixie's reign there. Well, here with NXT, they have taped out pretty good, and they set up that match between Ciampa and Gargano for the NXT in front of WrestleMania, and now they're going to have to figure a way to reset and scrap that whole thing.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to have to retape everything, and this is going right up to TakeOver. What are they going to do with the title match now? But, it's interesting. I mentioned Rambo in the open. Last night I watched the classic Keanu Reeves movie, Point Break.
Dude, you just watched that like 3 weeks ago.
I watch it every time it's on. I can't help myself. And, there's that classic scene when Bodie, Patrick Swayze, says to him, "Johnny Utah, Ohio State." And all the guys are like, "Yeah, I know you." And he said, "My knee bent in 90 degrees in the wrong position. I missed my window." Right?
Mm-hmm.
He missed his window. That's why he didn't get drafted to the NFL, Johnny Utah. Dude, Tommaso Ciampa, at this stage of the game, he's got a lot of wear and tear. I mean, how long was he in ROH before he even signed with NXT? I mean, he's been out there on the indies for a long time.
Yes.
So, I mean, it sucks for a guy like that because obviously they were ready to put him on the main roster, and now we're talking I read 6 months at least. 14 months is more probable. And if it goes beyond that, he may have missed his window.
Yeah.
After all that time.
What will they do when he comes back? Will they bring him right back up, or will he have to, go into NXT for a while again?
Well, who knows? 16 months from now. I mean, who knows? Who knows? You got the Fox show on the horizon with Smackdown. What will NXT be in 16 months? I mean, it's a year and a half away. We all know a year in wrestling time is like 10 years in real time. I mean, we don't know. Who knows what that company is even going to look like next year?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's very fair. And let me ask you this. It seems like this injury has also affected Gargano, because he hasn't been on TV since this happened. So will this injury to Ciampa even affect Gargano coming up to the WWE, do you think?
Yes. And I don't want to say it, but I think Vince is going to have an idea for Gargano, because he doesn't have an idea for Gargano now. They were a tag team in Vince's eyes, probably. So you know what that plan's going to be, right?
What's that?
Stick them in 205 till I figure out what to do. And we all know where that'll go.
Is there any chance in your mind that what's going on right now with Ricochet and Aleister Black was the original plan for Ciampa and Gargano?
Yeah, it looks that way now. It definitely looks that way now. And I was just banging on them last night for, you could look back at NXT, all their classic matches, and I stopped because I was being sarcastic. But now it looks like they were kind of forced into that situation.
So their original push for Ciampa and Gargano would have been based on some classic matches or friendship, and then the tag team makes some sense.
Right.
But instead of WWE doing the right thing and just aborting the whole mission, they just take two other random guys and throw them together and say, let's plop them in that storyline. And dude, this goes back to the age-old, you can talk to anyone who's worked with Vince McMahon before on the level of OVW or Florida, FCW, I think it was called, NXT. Mm-hmm. They all say the same thing, that there are times where they'll be doing something with someone and he will come down there, and Vince McMahon, and he'll be looking for a certain, I'll say character, although I don't know that they do characters anymore, and he'll just pick a guy. No matter what they're doing, no matter what they've been doing, he'll just pick a guy and say, okay, that guy, that's the guy we'll insert in there. And sometimes I think he thinks that that's okay, that it doesn't matter. But I think when you watch these guys and they're out of their essence, they're doing something that isn't them, it shows. And it shows usually in a horrible way.
Well, what it goes back to is that classic scene from Point Break where Gary Busey and Keanu Reeves are in the stakeout. And I talk about this all the time. Busey's hungry, and he wants Keanu to run around the corner and get him 2 of those great meatball subs, right? And he tells Keanu, give me 2. So Utah gets out of the car, and he's walking, and Busey, just to reiterate, hangs out the window, and he goes, Utah, give me 2. See, shout out Firehawk. Vince McMahon, in this scenario, is Gary Busey, my man. And he's saying, because he's hungry, Ciampa's not there no more. So he's saying, Utah, get me 2. Triple H was Utah. The 2 subs, appropriate word, are Aleister Black and Ricochet. See, everything goes back to Point Break. It is what it is. I could do this all day, but I won't. I'll stop now.
I would argue that you may be the only person in the entire world that would pick 2 scenes from that movie and label them both as classic. I digress. Next story. Interesting story, bro, out there. Did you see that Forbes put out their billionaire list?
I did, but I didn't read it.
So there was an early story that came out that Vince McMahon has actually jumped up in the billionaire list. He has a net worth now of $3.2 billion. And that was getting some celebration on the internet yesterday. Look at Vince. He's a billionaire, 3.2 billion. Used to be he was barely a billionaire. Now he's secure in his billionaire mark.
Okay.
Then a little later, another story comes out. Oh, you know who else is on that list we just realized?
Who's on there?
Tony Khan's father.
Uh-oh.
Shahid Khan.
Uh-huh.
He happens to be worth $7.2 billion. So, bro, that's a whole lot more money. Now, nobody here is trying to say that Tony Khan's dad is going to be okay with just shelling out any amount of money that Tony Khan wants. But let's just say this. The resources are there that if Tony Khan can show that this is a worthwhile venture, Shahid Khan has a whole lot more money to invest, especially when you take into account the amount of money that Vince McMahon is going to be investing in the next year over in the XFL.
Right. Yeah, I think we said previously on one of the AEW shows that we did, I want to say I worded it as such that maybe they don't, AEW maybe doesn't have WWE money, but I figured Khan's father had Vince McMahon money, and it turns out he has, 6 times Vince McMahon money.
Well, it's not. It's 3.2 to 7.2, so he has twice, a little more than twice.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is, though, a significant amount of change when you're talking about investing in a company. And again, I would expect that number for Vince McMahon, that $3.2 billion, once he really gets into the XFL thing, I would expect that number is probably going to drop a little bit. He's going to have to do some significant investment, especially because of the fact, as you cited in an earlier show, he actually owns all the teams.
Right. Yes.
So when you own all those teams, bro, you're on the hook for all the uniforms,
Everything.
for all the pads, all the footballs, all the trainers, all the coaching staff. I mean, you're on the hook for everything. And, bro, even, there's only 8 teams. That's got to be a significant amount of money.
Well, sure. Plus, I mean, think about the things we don't think about there. I mean, facilities. They're not just letting them use those facilities, right? In all the 8 cities and for all the 8 different teams. It's not like Vince built 8 different facilities. They're using other, I don't know, what are they on campuses? Where are they training and, practicing?
It's a good question. Is it going to be in those facilities that they're using on game day? I don't know. I mean,
well, plus Jim Zorn's salary out there in Seattle now too,
which is probably $3.2 billion alone.
Probably that's what he deserves. Hip hip, hooray! Remember when he did that with the Redskins in the locker room?
Yeah. I don't know how anybody could forget that. Actually, if you saw that once, or if you saw the famous Hands interview with him and Steve Largent.
Any football
that
fans,
interview is seared in my mind forever.
Pull it up on YouTube. Pull up Jim Zorn, Steve Largent, Hands, and you will see the funniest thing you'll probably ever see in your life.
Very, very funny. Okay, so there's 2 little news stories off the web. Now I want to turn our focus a little bit to Fastlane. An announcement last night that the New Day actually put out a little blurb there that they were in India, and I think Daniel Bryan actually made mention of that at the beginning of the show, that New Day was off in India doing what a B player would do, promoting the company.
Right, exactly. Yes, that's what I alluded to last night. Yes.
So the New Day put out a little blurb saying we will be at Fastlane. Mm-hmm. Now, as far as I can see, they are not listed on the card to wrestle in any way, shape, or form. Mm-hmm. So now here's my question to you. Hollywood Edwards, if the WWE creative team decided that they were going to have the New Day come down, do a run-in during the Daniel Bryan, Kevin Owens match, and that the New Day, maybe they start by clowning around, blowing a trumpet, but they take out Rowan, who, by the way, I noticed he doesn't, it's just one name now, right?
Yes, of course. Of course it's one name. That's what they do.
He's not Eric Rowan. He's just Rowan.
Yes,
now.
correct.
If they took out Rowan and then, destroyed the two participants in that, if Kofi Kingston just, the anger came out, how do you see that playing out with the fans if they wanted to move that story along and still let Kofi get his WrestleMania moment? Would the fans still embrace Kofi Kingston if he did the deed of putting Brian, Rowan, and Kevin Owens all out of commission at Fastlane?
I don't think so. But I will say, from a kid's perspective, the kid last night, watching a little bit of Smackdown for himself before bedtime, he said, if I was Kofi, I would run in and beat up the fat guy and say, I'm supposed to wrestle because he was supposed to sign, and that's when the fat guy came out and ruined it. So, if the perception is, and I know he's a kid, that Kevin Owens is a big bully, and he's bullying Kofi in this situation, maybe it would be okay with the kids. I know the adults would pop. I would pop if they went in and attacked everybody.
Yeah, bro, I
would
say,
I think as long as that balance is there, I think they'll be okay with it.
If a kid would forgive that so quickly, I think they're good to go.
Right.
Now,
and I did think that was interesting, because from his perspective, it looks like McMahon obviously is the bad guy, the bully, and he's using the fat guy, quote unquote, from my kid, and he appears to be a bully in the situation. So,
yeah, even though when you see the storyline, and even listening to Kevin Owens last night, it's not like he's trying to take that away from Kofi Kingston. He's kind of been thrown into this opportunity by Vince McMahon. Bro, I would say that's good news for them if they wanted to do that. Now, would WWE Creative and Vince McMahon pull that off or pull the trigger on that? I don't know. I don't know that they would.
Well, will there be an audible called? Because let me walk you back to last night with AJ in the back.
That's actually on my list.
Oh, okay. It was. Do you want me to wait?
No, we can do it now.
Okay. It was so blatantly obvious that he was saying that for a reason. The fans are screaming for Kofi. And then they're saying, oh, by the way, here's this video that they put out. They're saying that they're going to be on Smackdown. I mean, it was almost like the opposite of the classic scene from Point Break. Oh my God. Where Keanu Reeves, you remember when the girl breaks up with him? And it's just, dude, it's the worst acting I've ever seen. He's sitting there on the bed and he's like depressed, right? And he picks up the phone and he's leaving Tyler the message. And he takes the phone away from his ear and he goes, why can't I ever say what I actually mean? Epic, right? Well, AJ said what he actually meant, unlike Johnny Utah. So it was almost like purposely they said, okay, AJ, in your promo before Orton comes in, you have to reiterate Vince McMahon is still in charge, and Kofi will probably, be there because the fans want him. But don't say that he's going to be there. And then, of course, they released the video, and they're going to be there. So I don't know if they're going to call an audible. I don't know, maybe Stephanie or Shane says, we got to give him his chance, and then maybe Vince comes out and buries him again. I don't know what they're going to do, but obviously something's going to happen. I don't know if they're going to take it to the level of what you're talking about, though, like with a 3-on-3 attack or whatever's going to happen there.
So you're thinking that it might be more in line with they just right at the minute of the match, almost going off, they throw Kofi back into the match.
Maybe. Something like that, maybe.
Okay.
I don't know.
Two things about that little thing there with AJ Styles, okay? Mm-hmm. Number one. We talk about from time to time, and I think it's evident in that what you just said, in that little clip with AJ, The WWE really believes that the fans of the WWE are idiots. And here's why.
To a point.
Yeah, here's why. They really think that they have to put somebody, AJ Styles, out there to let you know that Vince McMahon isn't dead. He's still alive.
Yeah.
He still runs the company. And don't forget that, because, maybe next week or tomorrow or whenever, we're going to do something with him. And we don't want you to forget that he's still alive. Dude, it's why they keep doing this thing with Lacey Evans.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The story right now is that they don't think she's ready with her actual in-ring wrestling. So they're just trying to keep her out there enough so that that she's still there while they work with her on her in-ring stuff. Their hopes, from what I'm hearing, are for her to take the belt off of Asuka at WrestleMania. But they don't know if she'll be that far along by then. Okay. Mm-hmm. And dude, the whole mess with Asuka and the WWE over Asuka not having good English and the WWE not liking that, dude, I mean, I hear people talking about that, wrestling people, and Asuka is kind of getting a bad rap for it, that she's not working hard enough to learn English and all that stuff. But bro, that is so easily remedied and has been in professional wrestling throughout the years with just a mouthpiece. I mean, it could be so, and it's not like, then we got to go hire somebody. No, you have 50 people sitting back there that don't do a damn thing on any given night anyway. One of them's got to be able to talk.
Mm-hmm.
Just give her a mouthpiece already and let her move on, because she's great in the ring. I don't understand it. But anyway, here's the second part of that. As far as those folks who are out there who say we're crazy about this storyline of the breakup in the McMahon family, whatever's going to happen here, listen, guys, this is simple logic. AJ Styles went out there and said what he said. Again, Hollywood, what did he say exactly? He said about Vince McMahon and Kofi Kingston.
He said Vince McMahon said, I can't remember if he said Vince McMahon or the McMahon family, said, we're going to give you what you want. Well, the fans are screaming for Kofi Kingston, and they're not giving us what we want. They're not giving the universe what they want, or whatever.
Okay.
So
now, for AJ Styles to say that, one of two things is happening there. Either he was told specifically to say that, or he's trying to get fired.
Yeah.
There is no other explanation for that.
It came off to me as very scripted. He wasn't just shooting from the hip there, like cutting a promo to get himself in trouble. It was very scripted. It stuck out like a sore thumb to me.
Dude, I think we're golden at this point.
So do I. I think we are bulletproof.
Because it's the WWE, you're never bulletproof. They could change their minds in the next 15 seconds.
We got this one. This one.
Speaking of scripted, there's a little interview out there, a post Smackdown interview with Daniel Bryan. And Daniel Bryan pretty much cuts a promo in that interview on Kevin Owens. Almost like a shoot promo, I would call it. Do you have that interview queued up?
Yes, I have not listened to it, but
let's listen.
We'll take a listen to it. Okay.
Let's see what you think here.
All right. So this is post Smackdown. This was just released online?
Yes.
Okay.
Daniel, after what just happened out there, how do you feel about facing Kevin Owens this Sunday at Fastlane?
You know what? Typical Kevin Owens. Let me tell you a little story. Let me tell you a tale of two superstars. Okay? Here's superstar A, who was born with a tremendous amount of talent, more talent than anybody had ever seen. And day after day, year after year, he does nothing with it. And he just relies on his talent. And year after year, people start noticing his talent. But they say he's never going to make it because he's too lazy. But guess what? He was born with such an extraordinary amount of talent that he makes it. That he makes it and becomes Universal Champion. But he has never changed his work ethic. Now, let me tell you about Superstar B. He was born with just average talent, with an average upbringing, but with an incredible work ethic and an incredible intellect. And year after year, he worked hard and he trained hard. And year after year, people told him he would never make it because you don't have the talent. But do you know what that superstar did? That superstar went on to become Universal Champion. He became WWE Champion. He main evented WrestleMania because he had intellect and he had work ethic. Now let me tell you another tale about these two superstars. Let me tell you about their
Okay, go ahead. This is awesome, by the way.
Does this sound scripted to you?
No. No.
It doesn't sound scripted in any way whatsoever, correct?
This is what everybody should be doing. This is really good.
Okay. So Daniel Bryan, it comes out. They let him go.
Mm-hmm.
They let him say whatever he wants to say. And to me, bro, what you've heard so far, it's a home run, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, totally. Yes.
Okay, let's pick up.
Okay.
Injuries. Okay. Superstar A got injured out of neglect, out of overconsumption, out of just eating whatever he wants and being overweight. And that was the damage that made him have to get double knee surgery.
The fat guy.
Superstar
Yes.
B worked so hard that everything he did affected his body, and he worked and he worked and he worked. And then they told him, do you know what? You've worked so hard, you can't work anymore. You have to retire. And let me tell you a tale of these two superstars, how they reacted to their injuries. Superstar A got surgery and just waited and rested until they told him, okay, you can come back. Superstar B was told he would never, ever fight again. And he fought and he fought and he worked harder than anybody had ever worked before. And now that superstar is WWE Champion. These two people, these two superstars are competing at Fastlane for the WWE Championship. Superstar A and Superstar B. Talent and laziness versus intellect and work ethic. Who do you think's going to win?
There you go.
Wow.
Dude, that is an absolute home run.
Wow.
That promo, WWE should be getting everywhere they could get it. I got to ask you a question. Why was that promo not on Smackdown last night?
Dude, this is the problem. Wow, that was amazing, bro. That was very old school.
Now, are you going to tell me that Daniel Bryan didn't talk to somebody before SmackDown and say, I have an idea for a promo, an interview, I want to do it on the show? Well, what is it, Daniel? Okay, well, I'm going to say this, that, whatever. You know what? How about this? You go in the ring and we'll bring Kevin Owens down and you guys will try to one-up each other on little, jokes and stuff like that. And this, they drop after the show on YouTube and on the WWE network where, I don't know, 2 million people, they have an audience of 2 million people watching SmackDown, especially at the beginning of the show. Why wouldn't that be how you lead off your show?
Because it's not cute enough. It's not cute enough. That's the first thing. They had to be cute with the fat jokes and Owens calling him out with the fat jokes. The other thing about it too is we know, and I don't know if you know, but we all know that Kevin Steen Owens could cut promos like this at the drop of a hat. Search some Kevin Steen promos. Now, of course, he had the language in there that he can't do, but I mean, after seeing this, I don't know how, I get Road Dogg, I guess. How do you not put them in a room and go, all right, guys, this is what you're going to do. Go out there and shoot on each other. Here's your microphones. Go. Because it would have been gold compared to what they actually did.
Yeah.
This right here should have been on the show. Absolutely. They should play this on the show next week or at Fastlane. They should play it at Fastlane. Yes.
If this is not played at Fastlane, it is a travesty.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, if it's not played at Fastlane, this is another reason why WWE will never be able to excel the way that they did back in the Attitude Era, because all of that stuff is somehow beyond them. If you have a guy like this, and dude, I'm gonna actually put Daniel Bryan over here, because no matter what they have this guy doing, look at his career, bro.
Home run. He's a home run.
Whether it's babyface or heel, whether they stick him with somebody like AJ Lee or Kane and some doctor, whether they put him with Rowan, no matter what they do with this guy, he hits a home run. And bro, this is something that I don't think we saw this part of Daniel Bryan when he was in ROH. In ROH, he was a great wrestler. This that he's doing now, it just shows. I mean, this guy's growing and growing and growing. This guy is today one of the best in the business. Yeah. Now, there are people that are out there, and I'm seeing the remarks all the time. Yeah, well, he's not the wrestler he used to be since he had his concussions and blah, blah, blah. Well, yeah, because he's not going to take those chances and kill himself. That's common sense. Mm-hmm. And who wants him to do that anyway? I don't want him to. He doesn't need to do that for me. I think his in-ring stuff is fine right now.
I think it's great, stuff, especially with the heel character. He wrestles more like a heel now.
Dude, I just, for the life of me, I can't understand why this was not on the show. I got to believe that they knew. And, there's a chance that this was a pre-tape, too. That's the other part we have to remember. This was probably a pre-tape.
Mm-hmm.
This was probably done before that show ever came on air, and they decided not to play it during the show.
Yeah, probably.
It doesn't make any sense.
The only thing that I would legitimately say is a possibility that somebody in the back would be worried that it would be, who knows? I mean, if you give both of them a microphone and let him do that while Kevin Owens is actually going to respond to him in live time, maybe they got worried about what would actually be said.
Well, I mean, if that's the case, you just go to him ahead of time and say, look, number one, remember we're on TV, so you can't curse. And number two, Kevin, remember you're a face.
Right.
So you gotta keep that in mind.
That was a brilliant promo, man. That was awesome.
It was very good.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. I wish they would go back to it, but I don't think we're ever gonna get it again on TV like that. Jeez.
Shame. It's a shame. So I saw last night, and I listened to your review of Smackdown, and Samoa Joe is the new United States champion.
Yes.
I did not see that coming. I love the work that R-Truth was doing. I figured he could go on with the John Cena stuff for the next year. The telephone call that he took, it's funny because you saw it turn him the phone, and you could see his phone was just on the regular, first screen. He wasn't talking to anybody. That was a great thing that he did in that interview.
Well, that wasn't on the show either.
No, I think that was just something that they did, post or pre
and
SmackDown as well.
But to your point, it was so funny and so good. It should have been on the show.
But it wasn't.
Nope.
Okay, so Samoa Joe is the United States champion. Here's why I'm bringing this up, bro.
Okay.
AC always says, we don't forget that fast. And maybe that's a curse to us to a large extent, especially where it involves watching WWE. Okay. Bro, at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, and I get that was a long, long time ago, years ago.
Right.
Samoa Joe was the first guy pinned in that match and was out of the match. Now he's the United States champion. Here's my question. Do they even have a yellow book anymore? Do they know anything about what they're going to do next week or next month or next year? Because if they really wanted to put Samoa Joe over as the United States champion, they probably wouldn't let him be the first guy pinned unless, and here's the second part of it, unless they just don't think it even matters.
Mm-hmm.
Is that where they are? Are they at the point where nothing matters? Do they have a yellow book? Do they have any of this stuff planned out? And the second question to you, Hollywood, is, does it even matter to them? Do they even give a shit about character protection and all of that?
No. No, they don't. No, they don't. And no, they don't. It's obvious. I mean, you can't tell me that this was written out. I mean, just take the Becky Charlotte Ronda story. This wasn't written out for two Smackdown girls to go back over to Raw without an explanation. Because why would that make sense? If you're going to write it out, you would write it out in a way that makes sense. And it doesn't make sense. So that's your proof right there. They don't forward think.
Bro, I get so frustrated whenever I watch this. I mean, you know, it's so funny because last week we did the Raw review and we thought, you know, people could probably tell from the show that we did that we were happy with some of the things that happened and we could see some good changes. And, you know, there was a little bit of elation. And, you know, behind the scenes, what people didn't see was you and me patting each other on the back and saying, it's coming back. We're going to, AEW did it. They're not even here yet, but WWE sees it coming and they're going to fix all the broken stuff. And here we go. This is going to be a great time to be alive and be a wrestling fan. And a week later, I want to hang myself.
Yeah. Yeah. AEW is doing better and more thought out stories on their YouTube channels right now than WWE is with some of this stuff.
And they haven't had an event yet.
Nope. I don't think they care. That's the problem. They don't care enough to do it.
Bro, now I'm going to bring up something to you that I don't know. It might get your ire up a little bit. We'll see. But we had several shows up several weeks back about Dean Ambrose leaving the WWE.
Yes.
And people were very interested in it. There's a lot of interest of people in this story, whether he was staying, whether he was going. And still today, people are on both sides of whether or not he's really going to leave or not. And just the other day, we talked about it. Brian Alvarez there was a story out that Brian Alvarez said maybe he wasn't going, and the next day, I think it was your boy Meltzer said, no, he's definitely going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm reading this stuff today, and I picked out just 4 posts from regular wrestling fans.
Okay.
Comments about the Dean Ambrose stuff. I want to read the 4 to you.
This ought to be good.
And then I want to hear your comments, okay, on each post as we go.
Okay.
All right. Post 1. Dean isn't going anywhere. WWE used the AEW hype for free promotion and everyone ate it up. He's not a junkie. He's not an alcoholic. He works every day he can. He isn't going anywhere unless he's a bridge burner. Sometimes feelings get in the way, but I just don't see it. He wouldn't be showing up every day still if this was about feelings. Thoughts?
Okay. He would be showing up every day if he doesn't want to get sued because he's under contract. This isn't the NFL where you could just sit out. Okay, that's the first thing. Second thing is, okay, they used it for what purpose? What's the story? They used it for free promotion for what? What story did they tell with Dean Ambrose? The Shield? The Shield reunion? That's 2 weeks old because Roman Reigns just came back? So you're telling me they can't forward think to not make a convoluted story on about a women's championship title, but they can somehow forward think because they can look ahead and know Roman Reigns is coming back at the end of February. So 2 months prior to that, they're going to have Dean Ambrose fake like he's leaving. Stupid. Stupid comment.
All right, you ready for the next one?
Yes.
This is obviously a work. I've never seen WWE talk so much and almost brag about how Dean is leaving. They're stretching it out too far, and if he really wanted to leave, he wouldn't be doing these tacky promos and stupid matches.
Again,
so
he
now
would.
This person saying that WWE's talking too much about his leaving. What do you think of that?
I think they are stuck in this weird position of reality versus kayfabe. How many examples do you need to see of that before you accept it? They're talking about it because they put it out themselves and people know about it. That's why. And also, I mean, every Dean Ambrose match, Renee has to say something and Corey Graves has to say something because people know that they're married. Is that part of the story or is that just reality and they're trying to play with reality there? There's no story. Come on. Next.
Okay, next. I say it's a work. He isn't walking out on his career only. Oh wait, I'm in another thread here. Hold on. Oh yeah, I say it's a work. He isn't walking out on his career only. His wife just got promoted to the Raw announce team not so long ago. I think it is a move by WWE Creative to get us assholes interested in Dean again, and it's working. If he was really leaving, he would be ending Hawkins' streak. Thoughts?
Okay, so we're not interested in Dean Ambrose. They just turned him heel against Roman Reigns. Where are we at? 6 months ago. That wasn't enough. They had to fake him leaving to get him over. That's what that guy's saying, right? So why don't they do that more often with the other 80 characters on the show that nobody's interested in to get them interested? Why? Next. Mark. Stupid Mark. Next.
And this is the final one. So you're saying Mark so far?
So far, 3 marks.
Okay. Last one. I just don't see how a guy like Ambrose at his age can walk away from a 7-figure-a-year contract. I'm sorry. That would be one of the biggest Mark moves ever seen. Unless this kid is truly burnt out on the road, then I can't understand the logic of leaving that kind of money that he'll never make up anywhere else in this business. People forget it's not just about the downside money in the WWE. It's merch money that can be up to 6 figures a year. It's roster bonuses for TV and pay-per-view appearances. It's the sponsorship opportunities. I just hope this dude doesn't make a horrible career decision.
He just proved the point right there. He's walking away from 7 figures. Okay, how much money do you think the guy has? He just goes on to prove the point. He's talking about downside money, pay-per-view bonuses, merch. How much money do you think Dean Ambrose has right now? And let's just face facts. Some guys get enough money to where they go, okay, I have enough money.
Yeah, bro, and we heard that interview with him, and he sounds like a guy who is, quite the minimalist, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And let's not forget, his wife is still working for WWE, so I'm sure she's not making chump change.
Yeah, but that's her money, not his money.
I'm married, so I know that's bullshit.
Yeah, because when you're married, it's like a work, though. When you're married, because really you think that there's a combined household income, but that's not true. That's a work. So I don't know, man. I don't know what he's going to do for money. He's going to be slumming it up.
Well, bro, on that last one,
Please.
That guy actually says that, there's nowhere else to make that money in this business.
Well, there is.
And I think other people have shown that is not an accurate statement. It's just not. And the burning bridge statement, we've seen guys leave the WWE under much worse circumstances and come back.
Since the Ultimate Warrior came back, dude, that's it. That's the pinnacle of the burnt bridge being repaired. If he can come back, and people that don't know, go do some Warrior research if you don't know. But if he can come back and repair a bridge, anybody can. Dean Ambrose, really? What, is he in a worse situation than the Warrior? They're putting the honky-tonk man in the Hall of Fame this year. You know what that guy has said about Vince McMahon?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And you can't get that money anywhere else. No. We just talked about the billionaire family there that's going to be running AEW. No, there's no money anywhere, is there? No.
I thought the first comment I read you there, the guy said, he's not a junkie, he's not an alcoholic. What is he saying there? That only the junkies and the alcoholics leave WWE? I mean, what the hell is he talking about?
Yeah. Chris Jericho, obviously a junkie, right?
Well, yeah. Well, rock and roller, he has to be a junkie and an alcoholic, right?
Right.
So, okay. Now, we want to turn it now to the Becky, Charlotte, Ronda story that's going on here, and I know you have some things to say about that, so take it away.
Yeah, I didn't get into it last night on the review show because I thought, on the one hand, and this is what I said last night, that they made Becky look strong again, and they had to. But here's the problem. I also mentioned on that show, in the beginning of the show, that I went back and watched WrestleMania 2 with Hogan and Bundy. This is the point I want to bring up to you and get your thoughts on, because before the match started, they did a video recap, and then, they showed King Kong Bundy doing the avalanche to Hulk Hogan, and then he was doing the big splash on Hogan. And they made a point in the video, Mean Gene, Hogan, Hillbilly Jim, and Hogan's doctor, I guess, okay? He's working out and he's lifting, but he's selling the injuries, and they made a point to keep saying 5 weeks ago. For 5 weeks, Hogan kept saying, 5 weeks, brother, I've been struggling, brother. He's got the ribs taped up. He's selling the injury for the story of the match. Okay? 5 weeks. 24 hours before Becky comes in and gets her receipt on Charlotte for something Ronda did, she's not selling the injuries that happened 24 hours later. And I'm not talking about a crutch to the leg. Ronda destroyed her Monday night. She seems happy. She seems like she doesn't have a care in the world. She's still laid back, Becky. I'm still standing here. Okay, good for you. You're also not selling the beatdown, the massive beatdown, the destruction that you just had 24 hours prior at the hands of Ronda Rousey. Is that a problem?
It's a huge problem. And whether they realize it or not, with what they did last night, they did it twofold. Because not only did she not sell those injuries, so now that makes Ronda Rousey look bad. But at the same time, she came out there and said, yes, it's true I have bruised ribs. Yes, it's true my arms are almost broken. And yes, my knee is, damaged, badly damaged. So if they let that person with bruised ribs, broken arms, and one leg go in and beat Charlotte Flair, they're also burying Charlotte Flair.
Sure.
Dude, the problem of character protection with this company is insane. We just mentioned a couple minutes ago with Samoa Joe at the Elimination Chamber, not having the foresight to know that you're going to put the belt on them to keep them strong. And we saw it again last night. And dude, tell me something else, because am I crazy, or did her Irish accent get more Irish over the last month or so?
No, you're crazy. She always talks
like
that.
she was very Irish last night.
She always talks like that, bro. The other thing of it, too, is you're saying that. You're saying that you're banged up and you're bruised or whatever she was saying there. But you're not showing it. Now, are we supposed to believe, and this is the problem, everybody's saying, Dave Bautista and Triple H, it was real. That's good. We need realism. Ronda, it's real. It's realism. If it was so real, she wouldn't be in the match. Let's call in AC on this one, the captain of swag, and let's ask him, because he's our go-to MMA guy, right? So let's talk realism, shall we? She puts her in that arm bar. She just told us I could break your noses just by sneezing in your directions. And then she lays the massive beat down and puts her in an arm bar, twice? And there she is the next night walking around. If you're going to sell me on believability and reality, she would be pulled from the fight on Sunday.
She would absolutely not be at Smackdown the next night. She'd be at a hospital somewhere in Philadelphia.
Yes. I mean, and dude, this isn't me overthinking. They're telling me real. Now it's real. And it's not real.
What did they gain by that last night? I mean, what? So to make Becky stand strong, is that?
Yes.
That's what that was all about.
Yes.
But dude, to your point, here's a woman who has busted ribs. Her arms are broken, and she has one leg. Charlotte Flair is beating her with a crutch. She's kicking her around in the ribs and the leg. But somehow, this woman who is so damaged is in a second able to turn it all around and get on top. And if it weren't for the referees, she would have broken Charlotte Flair's arm.
Yeah.
Now, one of two things is at issue here. Either Ronda Rousey isn't really as tough as she thinks she is because she didn't really hurt Becky that bad.
Right.
Or Charlotte Flair is the worst wrestler in the world because with all those advantages, she still can't take Becky.
Hulk Hogan sold a couple splashes for 5 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but they're trying to tell the story that Becky's a badass. Don't you see that? Can't you see that, Hollywood?
Well, you need to do it a different way because you can't have a real mixed martial artist destroy her in a ring and then tell me that she's okay. This is the problem with adding the realism because you can't follow up on it because it's not real. It's pro wrestling. You can't sell us on this without selling us on this. And if she's not gonna sell the injuries, then you are not working us. You're not doing your job.
And dude,
it's terrible.
You mentioned AC. He actually put a tweet out here just this morning about this. Does anybody really think this is a good story that they're telling? And I was going to answer the tweet, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to save it for the Soldiers of Shoot and come on here and talk about it. And I'll go over and answer his tweet too after the show. But, bro, even if you and I have been pushing this storyline of this McMahon family breakup.
Yes.
And even if somebody came to me and said, okay, the reason they're doing what they're doing, I know you don't like it, but the reason they're doing it is because it's going to work with this bigger story. Dude, even if it is, it doesn't forgive these mistakes. They are huge holes.
Right.
They are huge mistakes. And even if it works within that story, it's still, there's a lot of stupidity happening here.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't have to happen. And you could still pull off that story. You didn't need to do that last night to keep with the story, because what you did last night wrecked everybody involved except Becky.
Right, exactly. And maybe
Everybody
that's because they can't figure out a way to do it anymore. They can't figure it out. Why not just have Becky sell the injuries, Say a couple badass things. You didn't have to have Charlotte attack her. Just say a couple badass things and let the announcers fill in the gaps after it was over. Oh, come Sunday, is she going to be able to overcome all these injuries? That's where she gets her comeuppance. Sunday when she beats Charlotte. And you can have her work the match like she's beat down. Let her work like a Jeff Hardy match, dude.
And bro,
come on. You're telling a story. So sell the damn injuries, put the question, the doubt in the head of the fans, and then on Sunday, let her overcome. But instead, you just destroyed Ronda in the process. Now tell me why. Why is this good?
And when she's talking about things, could she talk like a person with a pulse?
Dude.
Could she talk like a person who gives a shit? She is supposed to be the modern day woman's version of Stone Cold Steve Austin. Do you remember ever watching Stone Cold Steve Austin back in the Attitude Era and saying, boy, I don't even know if he cares about that. I'm not sure if he's that, that fired up about it? No, because every time Stone Cold Steve Austin talked about something, no matter what it was, you knew he was invested in that. Mm-hmm. You knew he was out of his mind about it.
Yep.
You knew that he was crazy about it and he was going to do something about it. Becky Lynch stands there and talks like she's talking to a doctor about her latest venereal disease. No, you know what? No, she'd actually care more about that.
Yeah, there'd be more emotion in that, yes. See, dude, this is the I mentioned, I don't know, a couple shows ago, somewhere along the line, that this moment was too big for her, and I don't believe her. That she believes that she should be in this position. I don't believe it. I think she's too laid back for it. I don't know what it is.
Vince saw that too, and I think it was a problem with Vince.
And I'll tell you what, dude.
Charlotte's in that match.
And I'll tell you what, people keep saying, this women's revolution, evolution. Here we are. We're set up for a main event at WrestleMania, and the people, according to the ratings, are turning the shit off. 2.4 million Monday night. 2.4 in hour 3, where all that happened.
From over 3 million to start the show.
We've said how many times, dude? You could go back 4 or 5 years ago, conversations with me, AC, Joe White on his YouTube channel. Women's wrestling doesn't sell to a mainstream audience. I'm talking mainstream audience. So don't everybody get mad at me. I'm not burying the women. It's just a fact. History has proven. Go back to Glow Wrestling. It doesn't sell to a mainstream audience.
And this isn't helping.
It's not helping when you're convoluting a story like this. It's so bizarre.
And I'd have to say that Becky Lynch isn't helping it.
No, she's not, because she's not grabbing it by the horns and taking it and making it hers. She's not taking the spot. I don't know how many times they can put her in a situation like this. People would kill for a situation like this. And they're putting her in the perfect situation, and she's going out there and going, well, you really wanted to see the man tonight, didn't you? What the hell are you doing? You just got your ass handed to you 24 hours ago. You're not selling the injuries. Why don't you go out there and just say, I'm not talking. I'm beating the shit out of you. Dropping the mic and beating the shit out of Charlotte. But instead, she's going, wow, the man came around and you're happy to see ya. What the hell is this?
Oh, it's good to be back here at Smackdown. Really, somebody who just got the living shit beat out of them, where they can't even move without feeling pain. If you have bruised ribs, let me tell you something. I've had bruised ribs several times. I've had broken ribs.
You can't breathe.
You can't breathe. You can't laugh. You can't sneeze. You can't cough. You can't do anything without excruciating pain. You're standing in the ring looking around smiling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You have me so upset that I'm starting to hate Irish accents, and I think yours is fake, and you were born and raised in Ireland.
You don't believe her accent. That's great. And dude,
that's how pissed you have me. I think you're faking your accent.
It's again. I said let's ask AC, but I didn't finish my thought. Dude, she basically Like, we've seen UFC fights, right? We've seen some of Ronda's fights. Oh, yeah, she got beat twice to Holly Holm. Shut up. Stop. Don't even go there. We've seen real MMA fights. Basically, what she did to Becky on Monday night, it was an MMA fight. It was an MMA fight.
Yeah, it was.
She punched the shit out of her and put her in an armbar. So you really think that a real life fighter would be able to fight 5 days later? That's what they're trying to sell us on. And it doesn't work. So now they took this story that they had on a silver platter. They convoluted it, mucked it up, and now they just mucked it up even more on a different level to a point where I don't even want to see it. I don't even want to see it anymore. They've already jumped the shark. I don't care about Becky's WrestleMania moment. I don't care about how over she's been over the past year. And let me tell you something. For her to be so quote-unquote over, why isn't the crowd popping when she comes out? Yeah, they do the Becky, but that's the extent of it. They're not popping when she comes out. When that music hits, if you look at the crowd shots, they're not up on their feet jumping. That's a problem. Because you want to compare her to Austin, go on the network right now, throw an old Austin match on from 96, 97, 98, whatever, and you will see the crowd up on their feet as soon as the glass breaks. It's not happening. Whose fault is that? Because she's in a position to make that happen. I'm just saying, let's be fair. We all love Becky, okay? Let's be fair. She's not getting it done.
Bro, that chant, that Becky chant, when Charlotte started that off, I mean, people that were in Wilkes-Barre last night.
Yeah.
I mean, do you realize that you proved how dopey wrestling fans are last night? I mean, did you see Charlotte's face? She literally only had to say Becky 3 times, and the crowd was...
It's unbelievable.
Was doing it.
It's unbelievable.
This is exactly why Vince McMahon feeds us shit, people.
Yeah.
Because he thinks we're all that dumb.
And we prove his point every time. You have a heel going, oh, I know, Becky. And then you start cheering along. As she's making fun of you, you don't even understand.
She was even, the voice you just used is pretty much the voice she was using when she did it. It wasn't her own voice. It wasn't a crowd voice. It was like a dopey voice.
She's not a face trying to get, she's not Macho Man calling for Hogan. She's making fun of you.
Ay.
Oh, dude, it is. I'll tell you what, man. I thought they were heading to a good place about, I don't know, a month or two ago. And this is
a week ago.
Unbelievable. Now, Monday night, we said, well, we still have Smackdown to go. Let's see what happens. Well, we saw what happened.
And again, it's not that the SmackDown show was a horrible show.
No, it wasn't. But
there's just so many holes with the way these people book, and we can't just give them a pass every time.
No, you
That's
can't.
what wrestling fans want to do. Well, I know, but they're just trying to get it from A to B and then B to C. No. If you're going to do that, use a little bit of logic.
Sure.
It takes nothing, especially when you have 165 writers. It takes nothing to go in a room and say, what every idea you're going through, okay, so we're going to go from here to there. Does that make sense? And then somebody could say, you know what? No, it actually doesn't make sense because she had the living shit kicked out of her last night. And you know what? She should be in a hospital right now.
Yep.
In fact, the big story on SmackDown should be, will Becky be able to fight in the Fastlane match?
That should be the story. That's what we should be talking about. Are they going to call an audible here, or are they actually? That's what we should be talking about. But no.
Bro, imagine if you get to the pay-per-view, the Fastlane pay-per-view pre-show, and they're interviewing people and other girls and trying to set up what they're going to do just in case Becky can't go.
Yeah. And again,
she's not here yet to be cleared by the doctors.
Right.
But let's talk to Fox and see if she'll wrestle Charlotte drunk.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. What are we going to do? What's the backup plan? You have the McMahons talking about it.
Aye, aye, aye.
And that's the thing, dude. Again, it's another corner that they back themselves into with this whole injury angle. She's not cleared to compete. Well, no MMA fighter would be cleared to compete 5 days after they just lost an MMA fight to Ronda Rousey, which is basically what happened Monday night. Oh, it was just a beatdown. Okay. Arm bars and punches. I mean, come on. I mean, and again. Do I want it real? I don't care. Do I want it kayfabed and all fakey and hokey? I don't care. I'm basing it on what I'm seeing. They don't even know what the hell they're doing. They don't know what they're trying to sell me on.
It's not up to the doctors. She signed that damn harm hold agreement or whatever the hell it is, so it's okay. Yeah, okay, I get that. But she shouldn't be able to walk in the arena last night.
Right.
She should be in a wheelchair. Like Dave Bautista was that time when Bret Hart tried to set him up in a match.
Where's my spotlight?
Becky should have been saying, I can't show up in the ring. What's your malfunction?
Mm-hmm.
I'm in a wheelchair, just like Dave Bautista said.
I mean, I don't get it at this point. They are so far gone from this original story in what, 6 weeks?
It was laid in their lap. They didn't have to do a thing but put a bow on it and point to the sign. And it was done with. It was set up. They didn't have to do a thing. But, and I don't know, maybe it is like we're saying, maybe Vince McMahon is seeing the holes in Becky and he's just not confident that she can pull it off. Maybe he thinks the moment's too big too. And maybe he really feels like Charlotte has to be in there to carry the match.
So what do they do now? Is he going to put her over at Mania? Like we're all expecting?
Yeah, I think so. I think Becky's still going to go over. And again, if she does, whether you realize it or not, you just buried Ronda and Charlotte because of the damn story you're telling.
And here's the frightening thought. I just said about how they're not popping. And they're not. Go and watch her entrance. As soon as the music hits, there's no reaction. What happens when they put that belt on her? Monday night after Mania, of course, the crowd's going to be crazy because it's going to be all the UK fans and all that. They're going to be going nutty. But a week or two later, you're going to see Becky really cool down. I guarantee it.
Yep.
And what do they do then?
They'll move on.
That's it.
They'll either move on to Charlotte or wish they still had Ronda around if she's not there. I don't know, bro.
Again, character protection, story protection. You just don't see it.
It's not there. It
doesn't make sense. Does not make sense to me.
And I think you're right. When I asked you about the whole Samoa Joe thing, is it that they don't have the other book or is it that they don't care? I think it's both.
It's both. Yeah, it's both. And compare it to any other TV show. You're telling a story, so it's fair to me that you can compare it to any other TV show. Shit like this to me is some dude on The Walking Dead getting a bite on his leg from a zombie or a bite on his arm, and they're not going to follow up the next week. He's just fine. That's what we're talking about here. It's a story. You can't forget what happened the night before. How? Why? They showed the footage on Smackdown last night of Ronda destroying her. Well, it just shows how tough she is. Okay. You're trying to tell me it's real now. You're trying to tell me it's real. Okay.
Bro, imagine that scene in The Walking Dead. And the guy comes back on the next show the following week. And one of the characters says to him, bro, I thought you got bit in the leg by a zombie. And he goes, bro, triple antibiotic cream. I'm back, yo.
No, that would be too much. That would be too good. At least they would have explained how she's okay.
All right, bro. That's all I got. I don't know if you have anything else.
I guess in closing, I'll just say, The end of the classic movie, Point Break.
Oh, God.
Where Keanu finally catches Bodhi and he slaps the cuffs on him. And Bodhi says, come on, man, let me just ride this storm. Let me just go. What does Keanu do? Does he haul him in and arrest him? No. He gets that handcuff key. It's pouring on the beach. Keanu's long flowing hair is down against his face. And he gets that key and he undoes the handcuffs. And out goes Swayze to surf for his final time. That's what WWE needs to do. Stop convoluting the storylines. Take the handcuffs off and let them rip. And if you have a person in a position like Becky where she doesn't know how to let it rip or she can't let it rip, then you don't keep pushing her. That's it. It's simple.
I can't believe you just made that scene work.
I made it work, bro, because it's the greatest movie ever made. It's easy.
Okay. There you have it. So there you go, troops. A Wednesday morning edition after the Tuesday Smackdown, after the Monday Night Raw. We're all looking forward to Fastlane on Sunday. Woo! We're out.